In this slide, we are going to continue with one of the important beverage crop of our country, that is tea. Tea is not the native crop of our country. It was brought in our country by the Britishers from China. First of all, it was grown in the hill slopes of Upper Assam, but then the tea plantations, they were successfully planted out in Brahmaputra Valley region by the Britishers. Then later on, it was set up in the Nilgiri hills of the south. Tea bush, it is the tropical as well as the subtropical plant. Green tea and oolong tea, they are more popular in China, Japan and Taiwan, whereas the black tea, that is after drying out of the tea leaves, that is much more popular in India and some of the European countries. The soil is concerned, well-drained, deep, friable loams with porous subsoil, that is considered to be good for the growth of the crop. Now, why this soil it should be porous? For the reason that the water, it is drawn towards the interior of the soil and the water is able to retain the moisture in it. But any kind of the standing water in the field, that is considered to be harmful for the growth of the crop. So for this particular reason, tea, it is preferably grown into the hilly regions where the water, it quickly run off the surface. Soil that is rich in humus and iron content, they are also considered to be best for the growth of the tea plantation. Plus the phosphorus and potash, they give the special kind of flavor to the tea. Nitrogenous fertilizers, they should be added out to the soil to increase the higher amount of production. Now the climatic requirement. Temperature of about 13 to 35 degrees Celsius, that is considered to be good for the growth of the crop. But temperature anywhere below 10 degrees Celsius and above 35 degrees Celsius, that is considered to be very harmful for the growth of the crop. Frost, again, that is very harmful for the growth of the crop. And tea, that is a shade-loving plant. And it should be planted with the shady trees for the better growth. Where the rainfall is concerned, 150 to 250 centimeters of the rainfall, well distributed rainfall throughout the whole year, that is considered to be the best one. Any type of the drought like condition or the high humidity condition, that is considered to be harmful for the growth of the crop. Where the method of cultivation is concerned, the sowing, it is done by using two of the methods. One, that is the transplantation. The another one, that is the clone planting. Now these methods, they are, under the transplantation method, the hilltops or the hill slopes, they are cleared and the shade trees, they are planted in advance because tea is the shade loving plant and the young bush is quite tender in nature. It cannot tolerate the direct sunlight as well as it cannot tolerate the high wind velocity that blows in the hilly region. So the seeds, they are grown in the germination beds and after about 9 months, the saplings, they are then transplanted back to the garden and weeding, that has already been done. Then the another method is the clone planting, where the cuttings from the good high yielding variety original plant or the mother plant is taken instead of the seed. So this method of growing out tea, this is known as the clone planting, as the new plant would also have the same qualities that the original plant or the mother plant that would have. Then these small cuttings, they are planted in the nurseries and after that, after few weeks, few months, they are taken to be transplanted back to the tea gardens. Here the harvesting that is concerned, by harvesting what we mean that the plucking of the tea leaves that is done. And how the plucking of the tea leaves is done? First of all, the method of pruning is followed. Pruning is the cutting up of the tea bush to a certain height, that is about the waist length, so that the plucking of the leaves, that is the top of the tea bush, the leaves over there, because that would give us the superior quality. So those leaves, they are plucked off and then they are thrown into the basket that is tied at the back of the labor, generally the women labor. Now, this pruning makes the plucking job not only easy, but it also helps in growing new shoots that would bear the soft leaves in good quantity. So, the plucking, it takes about 3 to 4 years for the tea bush to be harvested when it is ready to be harvested, and it is a very skilled job, and it is usually done by the women labor. Utmost care is taken that the two leaves and the bud that is only plucked. Now this is known as the fine plucking. Then the leaves, they are not plucked from anywhere the bushes near to the ground, because that will give the inferior quality of the tea. The best one comes from the top of the tea bush. The processing, it includes the various of the methods over there. 5 operations they are generally there: withering, rolling, fermentation, drying or fixing, and sorting. Now what all of these processes, they involve the various stages of drying up of the leaves, so that the moisture that is extracted, and the leaves then they are broken out, the juice is broken out, and the special flavor of the tea then comes out. The first of the process, that is of the withering. Now withering, it means the removal of the moisture that is from the leaves as they are spread over the racks by the warm air that is generally passed over them. The rolling, it gives the twist to the leaf, it breaks the cell, and natural juice of the tea that is exposed to the atmosphere. It sets in the third process, that is the fermentation. Now fermentation, after the rolling, the tea leaves, they are spread out in the special tray, and the fermentation process, it takes place where the tannic acid in the tea that is oxidized, and the tea leaves changes its color to the copper red. Drying or fixing, that is the next one. Under this process, the tea leaves, they are put on the conveyor belt, and then they are passed through the oven at a very high temperature. Now what would happen, the tea leaves, they get their normal black color, and they are ready for the sorting, which is our next process. Now after the drying, the leaves, they are sorted out, and then the various grades with the help of the sifters and the meshes, that is done. That is the size of the leaves that is taken across, and the removal of the dust, etc., that is also made. Now all of these processes, they can also be done through the latest of the technology by using CTC machine, where the crushing, tearing and curling process, all it is done using only one machine. After the sorting that is finished out, then the tea is ready to be blended with the various of the flavors. Now each of the blending, that is typically a secret where the tea manufacturers, they would like to keep with them, because the customer preference is such. After that, the tea, it is packed, and it is ready to be sent into the markets. There are certain number of the problems where the tea plantation that is concerned. The first one being that there is the decline in the tea price, less production of the tea takes place, because maybe the problem of the power is there, the labor that is there, financial crisis that is there. Then the labor, maybe they are demanded down in the less number. Then there is no proper storage with regard to the crop, and always the pest problem that is there. And black spot is a bacterial disease that affects the plantation of the tea. Where the areas and the states for the tea cultivation in India is concerned, only the few selected regions of our country, the tea, it is grown. Now we can very broadly classify it into as the Northeast India and South India. In Northeast India, it is grown in the hilly region of Assam, and then in the Brahmaputra Valley, and then in West Bengal. Now each of these regions, they have their particular climatic condition and soil condition which affects the growth of or the productivity of the tea crop. Then we have the South India, where it is grown in Nilgiri, Cardamom and Annamalai hills in the state of Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Karnataka. The importance of the tea in India, it is See, we are the largest producer of the tea in the world, and our tea it is demanded throughout the whole world because of the best superior quality that our country it produces. So throughout the whole world, we export it. It is labor intensive industry, so it provides the huge number of employment both to men and women, where women they preferably work in the field and men they work in the industrial setup. Now, this industry it also helps its subsidiary industry to grow. Say for example, where the packaging it is done in the aluminium foil, that industry that is also helped, plus the wooden boxes where the tea it is finally packed and ready to be sent in the market. So this industry is it is also helped by the tea industry, and tea is one of the beverage crop that earns a lot of foreign exchange for the country. We finish up the chapter, children. So go through the set of the question answers of agriculture part 3 also and read the chapter thoroughly. Thank you.